Hello friends, today we will discuss on scalar and vector fields, which is very short and simple topic, but it is necessary. So first we will discuss about the scalar field. What does this scalar fields means? Let's discuss on it. So we know that many physical quantities like temperature, electric field or gravitational field etc. have different values at different point in a space. For example, electric field of a point charge. Now let's say I am having plus Q as a point charge. So electric field at a point charge is large near the charge, and as we go away from this charge, this electric field goes on decreasing. Means it is a function of distance, that is it will have different values at different point in the space. So we can say that electric field here is a physical quantity which varies from point to point in a space, and it can be expressed as a continuous function of the position coordinates of that point in the region. Means I can say that this electric field is function of x, y, z, which represent position coordinates in Cartesian coordinate system. So in physics, there are many situations where a physical quantities changes from point to point in a region of space. Such a regions are called as a field. So I hope it is clear to you the meaning of fields. What are fields? It is a region in which our physical quantity changes from point to point in the space. Such a space or such a region is known as a field. Now, if particular point in a field is defined by this Cartesian coordinate xyz with respect to some frame of reference, then the fact that a physical quantity has a particular value at point means that physical quantity is a function of these coordinates of that point. Suppose at this point the electric field due to this charge will be different, and at this another point it is different. So these points are represented by different coordinate system. Let's say this point P is given by x1, y1, z1, and point Q it is given by x2, y2, z2. Now here the electric field will be different at point Q and point P. So it is different at different point in a space. Such a regions are known as a fields, and this will be due to this. These are function of this coordinate system in a space, that is x1, y1, z1 and x2, y2, z2. So such a physical quantities are known as the such a physical quantity which varies with the space in a region is known as a field, and there are two types of fields. We already know those types. One is scalar and another is vector. So first we will discuss about a scalar field. So what is the definition of the scalar field? So it is a field or when a physical quantity which describes a field is scalar, then it is known as a scalar field. This means what? Whichever physical quantity, for example temperature, electric field, gravitational field, whatever is that physical quantity, if it is of scalar type which describe the field, then such types of fields are known as a scalar fields. A scalar field is represented by a scalar point function which gives the value of that scalar at every point. For example, temperature in a room is different at different point. For example, now I am drawing the room. Now suppose this is a room, and here you are going to attach a room heater. So let me call this as a room heater. So if there is a room heater at one corner of room, now what will happen? Near this heater the temperature will be large, and as you go away from this heater in the room, temperature goes on decreasing. So let me say that in this region temperature is more, which I am going to given by 100 degree, and as distance increases temperature goes on decreasing. Let's say here it is 90, here it will be 80, 70 and so on. So as you go away from this source of heat, temperature is decreasing. Near this heater temperature will be large, and as you go away it will goes on decreasing. And then next example is the density of air. So density of air will be greater near the earth surface, and as you go away from that surface this density goes on decreasing. So this density and temperature are seen scalar quantities which describe the field. So these are known as the scalar field. So a scalar field is represented by a scalar point function, and that scalar point function gives the value of that scalar at every point as like this diagram. So in such a field we can describe or we can draw the surfaces. Just I have drawn here. So I have drawn these surfaces each such that at every point in that given surface scalar will have same value. Means for example, if you consider this surface, so in this region I have drawn a region. For this region, at every point in this region, if you measure the temperature, it will be 90 degree. This means such a regions, we can draw such a regions for which the physical quantity is same. So the scalar has same value. Now in this temperature field, I have drawn such regions which has the constant temperature curves, and these curves are known as the isothermal curves, or the region in which the temperature is constant, it is known as the isotherm, and it is also known as the equitemperature, or it is known as in thermodynamics this is known as the isotherm. So graphically scalar field can be represented by these contours. These are called as such regions are known as the contour. So there is special name, so that name is contour. So region, this region is one contour, this is another contour, this is third contour. So such a graphical regions in the field are known as contours, and which are imaginary surface. So this is a imaginary concept, this is not real concept. So these are imaginary surface drawn through all point for which field has same value. And in case of temperature, these contours are isothermal, therefore such a surfaces are known as the isotherms. So this is one isotherm, this is another, this is third. So this is the different terms which comes in the scalar field. For the temperature field, the contours are specially known as isotherms or isothermal surfaces and isothermal curves. In the case of electrostatic, suppose this is the case. Now this is electrostatic example. So in case of electrostatic, if we put a point charge at any place, then electric potential. Now let's take the example of electric potential. Let's say I am representing it by V. So electric potential around it will depend on position point to point. Suppose now I have drawn the contours or such imaginary surface near these charges. So this region will have same potential point inside this region which is known as contour. So these are imaginary surface. So I am giving different notation, or I am drawing in a way so that you get isolated curves. Now this, in this contour, the electric potential will be same over this region. For this region, for each point in this contour, V will be same, but these two corresponding surfaces will have different V, because your physical quantity, that is potential, is different at different point in a space. Now since it is a scalar quantity, this is known as scalar field, and this electric potential around this point charge will depend on the position of point. Now since the field around charge is known as scalar potential field. So if all points for this region, all point will have some same value of potential. So these are known as the equipotential surface. So for this surface you will have same value of V at each point. For this surface also same. For each surface you will have same value in that surface at any point. Since potential is same, it is defined as a equipotential surface. So this is all about the scalar fields. Also one more example is that density that just we have discussed. So we can also draw the curves for the constant density surface. Now let's discuss about the vector fields. Now whichever physical quantity which is going to describe that field is of a vector type, such fields are known as a vector field. Here we have taken two examples, temperature and potential. So both was the scalar quantities which were describing the field. So we called them as a scalar field. Now if there is a case where the physical quantity you are going to describe is a vector quantity, then such field which describe that physical quantity is known as a vector field. Let's discuss some examples. So first example is the example of the velocity of water. Now we will take example of river. Now suppose we are having a river. So in case of river, the regions are different at different places. Means suppose in case of river, there are some places where this river will have a narrow region. So this is narrow region, and if you observe this is large area, this is small area. So I will call this as narrow region and this is called as wide region. So if water is flowing through these both regions having different areas and volume. So if we calculated velocity of water in these two regions, that is narrow and wide, then velocity of water in the narrow region will be greater as compared to velocity of region in the wide area, because since area is wide, velocity of water will decrease. So what this means? This means that your physical quantity, that is velocity, is a vector quantity and it is different at different region, but this quantity which describes the field is vector, therefore this is known as a vector field. Now another example we will take for electric field. This was electric potential. So in case of electric field E bar, now this is a vector, this is a scalar. So here if this electric field is the field, now here it will be larger near the point and it will decrease as we go from away from this point charge. So this is again the function of space in the region. So this is also known as the vector field. Then another example is magnetic field. So magnetic field near the pole of magnet. You know the magnet, there are two poles. Suppose I am taking bar magnet, let's say north and south. So magnetic field near these poles will be larger, and as we go away from this pole it will decrease. You have played with magnet and you know this, right? In childhood you have already know all these things. So this is one more example of vector field. Now a vector field is represented by a vector point function which gives magnitude and direction. So in case of vector field it will have both magnitude and direction at every point. So if we consider a field surrounding in a electric charge, then at every point in a field the electric field vector will define magnitude and direction. However, both magnitude and direction of this E bar may be different at different point, and it is defined by one physical term which is known as flux or force or flux lines. So the direction of this field vector at any point is same as the tangent to the flux line passing through the point. Now let me define flux lines. So what are flux lines? These are the number of line of flux passing normally through the unit area around the point in a field, which is equal to magnitude and direction of that field vector at that point. Now let's say this is a region where we will have electric field due to this point charge. So if I draw the line of force, means electric charge will produce some electric field which will be in the form of line of force. So these are line. Let me draw it in a new space. Suppose I am having point charge. So it will create some electric field around the charge. So these are the electric fields given by this point charge. Now let's say this is E bar. So it will give electric field in all directions since it is a point source. So these are known as the line of force. And what is the concept of flux or line of force? So the number of line of force passing through this area per unit time will define the flux. Number of line of force passing through unit area normally per unit time is known as the line of force, and each line of force will define magnitude as well as direction. See, we have given direction. So the graphically vector is represented by a line which are known as field or line, flux line. So these lines are drawn in the field in such a way that if we draw tangent at any point to this line, it will give you the direction of vector field at that point. Let me take another example, which is the example of magnet. So here I am having a bar magnet, and what we did, I have putted the iron powder. I made the crush of iron and I have putted the iron powder on the near this magnet, and what we did, we have placed this magnet on a paper, okay, or we can say one card sheet is there. So we are having one card sheet, and on this card sheet we have placed magnet as well as iron powder. And what I did, I give some quick force to that card sheet so that it is move away from this magnet and iron powder. Means I have slided that iron sheet by applying a quick force. Instant force is given to that card sheet and I have moved it instantly. So what will happen, that card sheet will go off, and iron and magnet, since it will have some weight, it will remain on its place. Means if you remove that sheet by applying quick force in this way, see I am showing you. So if you apply this such type of force, card sheet will go off and magnet and iron will remain on its own place. So after that, this will be the picture. So this iron powder is distributed in specific manner, and this picture is seen. You have did this experiment in your childhood. So these are the lines of magnetic force or magnetic field. So here, to express the vector for the magnetic field, we will draw per unit area infinite decimal. So means we will draw a small area region, that is infinite decimal area, which is perpendicular to this field lines. So these are our magnetic field lines near the pole. Now you have already did this experiment in your childhood. So these are magnetic lines of force, and we draw a unit area or infinite decimal small area which is perpendicular to this line of force. So the number of lines which are passing through this area, means number of field lines passing through this area element, will give us magnitude of that vector field. Okay, and one more important thing to note here is that lines will represent a vector field, and these lines cannot cross each other. Means if you have one field line in this way, then another field line should not be in this way. So there is no intersection of two field lines, because suppose I am going through this path, okay, and I come over this point of intersection, then you will get confused that either you have to follow this direction or this direction. So they should not intersect each other such that we will have a unique field direction. So this intersection will give us non-unique field direction. So this is not the case in case of vector field. So these field lines never cross with each other, or they never get intersect. Means you will have one and only field line which will represent you a unique field direction. So this is all about the vector field and scalar field, and end of this discussion.